Hey everybody, welcome to the Community Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Arboit, and my guest today is John Fialkowski from Career Coaching with John. How's it going, man?
Good. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for inquiring on being on the show. I always like when people reach out and want to tell their story. So yeah.
Well, it's a bit of a journey to find you.
Yeah.
But why not? Yeah, I was looking for some place to talk about what I do, talk about my podcast, talk about my coaching world and the people I talk to and what I'm trying to accomplish, I guess.
Okay.
I found you and here we go.
Great.
So I'm very excited. Thank you for having me here.
No problem, man.
Yeah.
Well, I always like to ask this first. Like, tell us about you. Tell us about how you got to where you are.
Well, I how do I start? I got tired of doing I got tired of my jobs.
Yeah.
I got tired of having a job. How's that for starters?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to work. I always wanted to do stuff. I love working, but I hated having a job. And for me, it was like there was a disconnect between what I was doing and what was actually meaningful and important to me.
Yeah.
And I spent years doing working in hospitality. I work in nonprofit. My last job was running a bike shop, and the part that always appealed to me was the working with the individuals and the people and building them up, as opposed to what I was selling.
Yeah.
And I didn't find the whole thing very intellectually or artistically stimulating, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So about this time last year, I left my last bike shop job and kind of went on this, this journey of discovery. I don't know if you call it, but I stumbled upon coaching, and it got to the point where it didn't seem like I had any choice. So now what I love to do is help people want to find the thing that makes them tick, makes them happy, or makes them actually want to do the unpleasant things that they have to do to either start their business or get a job or you name it. Find their next path in their life. So that's led me to, all sorts of places, and meeting all sorts of new people and discovering new ways of thinking, and here we are. So yeah, that's what it comes down to. And today I just wanted to talk about, journeys in life, finding your career, finding your moment that makes you happy.
Yeah.
I host a podcast around that. My show was really based upon learning how to do it.
Yeah.
And it's taken its own life of its own. So yeah, here we go.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like one of the hardest things to do is sell people on doing what they love.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, and in reality, when people do what they love, if they can unlock the success to it, like, you're always going to get better work out of it. I always think it's hilarious, and I feel for a lot of, we work with a lot of business owners and everything, and it's an unhappy staff that has no passion about what they're doing is really just difficult to have. You can't. It's really difficult having that crew, paying them, and having zero interest in what they're doing, and they're dreading coming to work the next day, and you're not going to get the best work out of them, and vice versa. The workers aren't going to want to give their best work on something that they despise doing every day. So it's like this 9-to-5 lifestyle that I guess past generations have been so accustomed to. And you get this job, your union, you get benefits, you have your family, you have your picket fence. It's not something that this generation really has access to now. What is the harm in trying to do something that you love now?
I agree. The whole process of finding a job is so unpleasant. Everybody at every stage of it hates it. And I'm talking about the person filling out the application, to the person that has to read the resume, to the person that's dreading have to sign a paycheck. Yeah. Everybody hates it. And I'm kind of questioning why. This is the greatest opportunity, or one of the greater opportunities of your life. Like, this is the thing that you spend the most intellectual property in it. And you go into it with I hate this attitude. And I don't think you necessarily have to love every moment of your life, but you should be identifying you should be identifying what drives you, what are your needs, what kind of professional purpose you have behind this, and be able to ask for it in a way that makes you happy or makes you feel, I don't know, like you're gonna get something and feel understood. So that's really the challenge that I think a lot of us struggle with. Anyway, yeah.
It definitely does. I mean, coaching people, it's a difficult time for a lot of with small business owners or entrepreneurs. Like it's a tough time for their brains. Let's just put
Yeah.
it that way. So
Yeah.
trying to coach people through that, how has that been? Especially how did you stumble upon doing this? For one, like you said, you chose coaching, almost popped out at you, but like getting into it at a time where it seems like a lot of people need coaching,
Yeah.
but they're so chaotic in their brains at the moment that how has it been trying to deal with these people?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy. I
Yeah.
mean, avoidance is part of this that you have to get over. You have to be prepared for a lot of rejection. You have to, go into it. The way I see it is that my journey is like theirs, right? And we're all doing this together. That was something that I did for myself, I guess. Like, how can I frame the discomfort in a way that doesn't make me feel so small, doesn't make me feel so dumb?
Mm.
And so that's really actually where my podcast came in, the Career Coaching with John podcast. To me, that was, if I can't meet people, or I work by myself, right? So I don't have a ton of people that I get to meet. I need a venue to talk about these challenges. I need a place to learn something new. I need a reason that excites me to learn something new.
Yeah.
And then it becomes about, I don't know, maybe about a storytelling element. So what is the story that I'm trying to tell to you? And how can I help you tell me your story in the process?
Yeah.
That starts, I think, with being okay at being terrible at something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always say here, like, because we include podcast studio time for our memberships. So,
Yeah.
like, they get so many hours in here a month, and we always tell people, start your first shitty podcast. Do it.
Yeah.
Just get in there and try it.
Give yourself permission to suck.
Yeah, and it's fine. And like,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Gary Vee. I don't know if Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you heard. He's
Yeah.
he's a successful entrepreneur, but he's very vocal with how people need to stop seeking perfection, and just release things, do things, if it's shitty, it's not a big deal because you'll get better from shit.
Yeah.
You will get better each time you do it.
Well,
And-
we live in a world obsessed with perfection, right?
Yeah.
I mean, every day you're looking at perfect people doing perfect things,
Yeah.
driving their perfect cars, living their perfect houses. Should you have that sort of stuff? I don't know. Do you really want it?
Mm.
And that's actually a funny thing that I discover in the first few calls with my clients. It's like, what do you actually care about? And at the end of the day, all that kind of perfection trappings, they don't care.
Yeah.
They want to be able to express themselves. They want to be able to say, hey, this is what I want. Can you help me?
Yeah.
They want to be able to receive feedback in a way that feels useful.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where they've come from or what spectrum they're, what world of, they just kind of want that.
Yeah.
How can I ask you for something simple? Because we think we're supposed to know it.
Yeah.
And you come out of school, you start your job, you've got to do this whole fake it till you make it thing. You lose your authenticity. The AI bots are doing everything better than us anyway. Okay, so where does that leave you?
Yeah.
Well, that leaves you with a community. It leaves you with your own intelligence, your own things, and what are you leaving on the table?
Yeah.
So the challenge for me as a coach, and I think for other coaches, is how can we dig that out of somebody and make them excited about this process?
Yeah.
Because it's not a fun process.
Now, failure
Yeah.
sucks,
Failure
but it also
sucks.
is the best coach. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, it is. Like, being thrown to the wolves is something that, like, some people will succeed heavily in, some people won't, but it's sometimes the way to do things is just kind of getting in there and doing it,
Yeah.
not worrying about the outcome. In reality, like, if you're passionate about something, or even if you're not, but you know it's good for you,
Yeah.
you got to try doing it. And if you chase perfection, you'll never get there. You can, and we deal with influencers and people that have like huge followings online, and you hear about their stories of how they got to where they are now, and they always were trying their perfect videos, and then they're like, why are these videos getting 0 views? And it's always a video or content that you never expect to take off,
Yeah.
that ends up being the thing that takes off. And then if you have those perfect videos, maybe they'll get views now. Like it's usually the videos that aren't perfect that will get your real content that you're proud of getting views. And that's just how it is. And so people really got to realize that the most unlikely thing in your mind will be your most successful thing you put out.
Yeah. Yeah. Being prepared to, I think about it as a heartbreak, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, and I think about my career has been marked by a lot of heartbreak. It's, getting emotionally attached to something that's not yours, right? And trying to fit yourself into a mold that's not right for you, and all those things. And you need to get over that, and you need to find the support to get over that, and you need to have people to help you through that in a way that works for you. But you can't really do that until you can start asking for it and identifying it and really playing up your strengths and allowing others to follow you and come with you and be part of that. I really want to frame my business around that notion. I want it to be a rallying point for all of us, because we've all felt that heartbreak, and if we haven't felt it yet, we will feel it.
Yeah, one day.
And it's not a bad thing. It's like that failure isn't a failure. It's actually, it's like you said, it was the best coach, right? It's somebody who's come in a moment that really highlighted all those things that you were just, it's not that you were wrong, it's that you just weren't right.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that you've learned along the way that now's your time to apply it. So, again, it's hard to get people to that point of I'm ready to make that step. But when they're ready to make that step, well, you already know the answers. You already know what you need to do. How do you embrace the discomfort of doing it? Yeah.
And I mean, entrepreneurs are stubborn people. I mean, there's a reason why people work for themselves is usually because they don't enjoy working for other people. So like working with coaches is usually, I find, we've dealt with many coaches within our network and stuff, and a lot of them find success not with startups or like people that are just getting like starting out their companies. It's people that have gotten it to a next level, and are finally accepting getting rid of their stubbornness, and that they need help, and that they can't do everything. They need to work with somebody else. So are you seeing that a lot more? Like it's like people that actually have like gold in their hands, but really don't know what to do with that gold yet. Because I find just dealing with people on a regular basis, the entrepreneurs that have been doing it a little bit longer are usually a little bit easier to work with.
Yeah, I'll agree there. That gold in your hand, because it's so, I mean, I have this idea in my mind that's brilliant, right? This is perfect. This is going to bring the world together. It's in my mind, but now I have to translate it into something. And in order to translate it, I need to find people who can do it with me. But I, of course, need to be able to hear the feedback too. There's a lot of you should do's, and they're not wrong. I have to teach myself how to hear that. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, and even anybody working in a regular job, needs to learn how to receive and ask for and define feedback. And those are the things that we have to get towards. I don't think people are dumb. They're smart. They know what they need to do. But just getting their minds past that little, what was it, the self-limiting belief kind of thing? No one's going to like this. No one's going to appreciate this. No one appreciates me, blah, 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 You have to learn how to get past that. That's my hope is let's start to reframe those things, and having somebody who can objectively listen, objectively repeat back your message, it does make a tremendous difference. And I know it's not with my clients, but I've noticed working with coaches myself, that's what's worked for me. And so, Yeah. You either get there the hard way, though,
Yeah.
or maybe there's a way of getting there the easier way.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like, I've seen people get, I wouldn't say the easy, like, they grind it at the beginning. Any idea is going to take some grinding, but
Yeah.
if they have just like success after one another from the beginning, when they get thrown that bone of non-successful, they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know how to react to it because
Yeah.
it's been just gold this whole time. That I find that people that are willing to not expect failure, but accept failure, like if they try something, doesn't work out, the next thing might work out. They're just, I don't know, like they're going to, down the line when they are super successful after getting through the shit, they now are can like figure out the problems that are going to happen, or like if something on the fly has a really bad day, they can figure it out faster than the people that have just gotten just positive news after positive news. And I've seen it multiple times, especially like a lot of tech people, because I mean, if you hit strike gold with anything tech related, usually that's literal, like you're striking gold. But it's when that contract that you had in line for something, or an investor just falls out of your hands and doesn't happen anymore, how do you deal with that? And usually, like, people that have basically tried and failed, tried and succeeded, they can deal with this a lot easier than people that have just been handed everything. I'm not going to say handed everything, but just have seen it easily come to them.
I had one of the most interesting pieces of advice I ever got was put yourself in a position of need.
Yeah.
Whenever you're feeling comfortable, find a way to put yourself in a position of need again, because that comfort is your enemy.
Yeah.
And when you decide at the end of your day, I'm going to sit down and I'm just going to watch TV, or I'm just going to sit on my phone, or I'm going to do that, kind of obliterate my mind and distract, that takes away from your purpose. If there's another way of putting yourself in that position of need where you have to keep going, you'll discover things about yourself that you didn't even imagine were possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny that you were talking about the tech people, though. I've been doing this series with this guy on my podcast and he's based in the UK. Smart guy. He's like 24. He works in tech, and his whole life has been one rational decision after another.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to do this job because this job's going to make a lot of sense to me, and I'm going to make the money I need. But he feels comfortable, and he says, "This is terrible. I'm too comfortable."
Mm.
So he had this idea in his mind to start a podcast about people's path in life, and he's going to interview people, just normal people, but he wants to interview them in the way that a CEO or an expert might be interviewed. Mm-hmm. And he finds himself in this place where he can't identify with he can't emotionally connect with his guests. Yeah. So it feels artificial. It feels fake. It feels almost wrong. Like he can't have a proper conversation with them. So we had connected, not through coaching. I had reached out to him because I saw his podcast and I thought, this might be a thing to collaborate with. Yeah. And so we started doing this coaching series of where we're going to discover the things about him that might be getting in the way of his success. Yeah. And it's been this really interesting journey of, okay, what's your personality type? Who are the things you value? What are the characteristics you value? And at the end of the day, what we come back to, well, you're approaching your podcast the same way that you've been approaching your life. Rational decisions that make sense. It's my comfort zone. Yeah. How do you make yourself uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncomfort's great.
How do you throw yourself in a place where you can be as uncomfortable as possible so that you can better identify with the people that you really respect? Yeah. Yeah.
It's the people that can train themselves to like change too. Like I think that's like I've kind of gained more respect with change on the fly and like learning more. And I said this on one of our last podcasts with a guest, is just like the whole fake it till you make it. Yeah. I feel like every successful entrepreneur is faking it till they make it till they die. Yeah. Because if they're growing as an entrepreneur, the next step is usually something you haven't learned yet. And now you're jumping up to that next step to basically advance your career or advance what you're doing, that you're faking the next step every time. Anybody that's, even if you've gone to school for something, if you get that, either start your own business or you get a job somewhere, you're faking how long you've been doing this. Because if you're trying to get clients,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be like, hey, you're my first client. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, no, you're gonna act at that networking event like you've been doing this 100 years,
Yeah.
and that you are the best to get hired. So fake it till you make it is not a bad thing.
No, and you know when it comes down to, if you're suffering from this the imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be actually better. You just have to be slightly ahead in life with your client.
Yeah.
Like you just have to have gone through something that they haven't gone through to add tremendous value.
Yeah.
And that's where I think where people lose that perspective of what is the value that I can bring forward, and what is the value that I can get out of an occasion.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's actually much, much simpler, because it's much simpler to fake it till you make it when you've already seen, like, I've got that much value and
Yeah.
I can do something with that value, and I can give that back, or I can sell it, or I can, I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
How long you been running your podcast for?
Since March. Since March.
So what really made you decide to do that? I mean, did you see the value in doing it?
It was about being okay. Well, I started it because I wanted backlinks to my website, and then I thought, all right, this is good advertisement for the web, for my business. It was neither, but that doesn't make it not valuable. What I started to do was it allowed me to organize my thoughts, and it forced me to sit down in a room and write out what I was thinking and write out what I was trying to say. And then I kind of played my own story to death. So I started telling other people's stories. And then I found that I was able to resonate. My clients were able to resonate with their own message by me telling their story.
Yeah.
And then things started to make sense to them in a different way. So I thought, okay, that's an interesting avenue. And then I noticed that people wanted to be part of it. And they wanted to tell their story. And it was be other coaches or people who are working in kind of whatever their thing is. And they started approaching me. So now I'm thinking, this is the thing that can really accelerate my network in a way that just declaring myself a businessman can't. And now I'm sort of thinking, okay, well, how can I bring all those people together? And how can we create a network around this podcast of really lifting each other up, really, I don't know, building a community that is enduring.
Yeah.
Again, I don't fully know, but the unifying force around it, again, I think this is around a storytelling thing. And if you have an opportunity for people to tell their story and share their story, it brings the best out of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And excites them in a way that, just telling them about what you do doesn't do. It doesn't work. I had interviewed this one woman, and she would call herself an intuitive confidence coach. She was telling me about this awakening that she had, and I completely didn't understand what she was talking about until she said, I started defining myself about, people ask me, what do we do? I define myself by my value versus my job title.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I felt free, because I was identifying the thing that I am really good at and that I really care about, and I can really improve your life with, and I can improve my life with, rather than some vague job title that's associated with somebody else's business. And And I'm like, okay, let's take that idea. People want to come along with this. They want to participate in the storytelling. I'll center it around the value. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
So, that's the long short of the journey of John's podcast.
Yeah.
Is it going to work? I have no idea. But who cares? I'm giving myself permission to suck, right?
Yeah, and it's endless content. Honestly, like we try to tell our guests, our people that use the podcast studio, use our services for production, is you record a half an hour long podcast. The amount of content that's within that podcast that can be used for years to come.
Yeah,
and even like going back in time and seeing those your steps of your podcast. Like we've done close to 200 podcasts for our show, and seeing how it started to where it's gotten to.
Yeah,
it's huge. But people like seeing that old content. They like seeing the old shitty stuff. They actually will go back and watch it, not to like shit on you or what you've done. It's more so like, man, this person's been dedicated for this long. It
Yeah.
started off with this, with like just the raggedy camera, with like with good mics, but not as good mics, and just seeing it get better and seeing people be into it, like get into it. And the amount of first timers I've interviewed that have never done podcasts before, because it's just it's still technically a new industry, even though it's been around for probably 20 years now, but it's still like nobody sees the value in it when it comes to promoting themselves as much as they really should. It
Yeah.
is huge. Like social media is, you don't have to pay for it. Like people don't realize, like you can get successful without ads on Instagram, on Meta, on Facebook, on anything,
Yeah.
if you have good content. And this is endless content. You can there's AI programs out there now that you load a half an hour podcast into there, and it will break down all your clips and show you which ones could be the most viral, what is good information. And people don't realize sometimes the conversations that they're having back and forth with somebody, where the nitty gritty, like crucial information actually is. They think it's somewhere that they had this spiel that they planned, that they really always say it on every podcast, or just every time they're trying to sell what they do. It's the stuff in between that actually sells what they do. And that's people, I think nowadays, it's a trust factor. I think it's not, there's so many positions in so many different fields that there's so many people doing it. It's not who is technically the best at it. It's who you connect with on a personal level,
Yeah.
that you can work together with very well, mesh together well, and build on. Because I've seen people that are the greatest at something. They work with somebody else who's the greatest at something. They do not work. But then this person over here, that's the greatest at what they do, and this, they gel, they mesh, they work together. So it is who you know more nowadays, and who you work with, what will make you successful, them successful. And I think the idea that every client is going to work with me or work for me is wrong, because it's just personality traits, types. They do not always mesh in business, in life, anything.
Yeah. You know what I find an exercise I do with clients, that one of the very first things we do is a personality test.
Yeah.
And we do this, like this Myers-Briggs things, right?
Yeah.
Now, truthfully, I don't know anything about Myers-Briggs. I really don't. I don't care either. I'm actually more curious about how people see themselves, because those things are a reflection of, you enter all the questions, it goes into the computer spits back a reflection of you. And sometimes it's right, but oftentimes it's not right. And so you have to start asking those questions. Am I asking the right things? Am I saying the right things? This is like the authenticity that people are longing for.
Yeah.
Out of like the shitty episodes that you first came out, episode 1, where it's awkward, you can hear the computer fan in the background, and like all those dumb things. Now, but now as you refine your product, people hear that and they're like, wow, that's really authentic, and I really like the way that he's learning this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that being able to express yourself in that way, and when you're not necessarily repeating the programmed message that you've developed over time and it's worked for you, but has it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we do the personality test in the first part. And I want people to do it and go, okay, is that really me?
Yeah.
And so when we did that, when I was doing that exercise with that podcaster, and he did it, and he said, okay, I'm the executive. That's what his thing is. This is from the website. And he said, I'm the executive, and I make quick decisions, but I can be a little bit short on my emotional connection with people. And I went, okay, what's there? So let's dig into the emotional connection part. What part of that is it that you are uncomfortable with, or that you ignore? Well, okay, let's dig into that, because he's thinking, you've got a problem, so here's a solution. It should make sense. No. Start asking the questions around the problem. What you're really interested here isn't so much their LinkedIn profile. You're interested in how they actually, what they went through to get to this point.
Yeah.
Because that's where the really compelling story is. And you have to be able to really be prepared to sit and wait and ask questions and learn to get that out of somebody. Otherwise, they're not as self-aware. They're not as self-aware as you are.
No,
Right?
definitely
And
not.
they're very afraid of being that person oftentimes.
Yeah.
And they're very afraid of being themselves oftentimes.
Yeah.
But we want that authenticity because, we live in a perfectly painted world, right?
Yeah.
What are we actually missing? Yeah. So,
I mean, we talked about it earlier. Like, you only see perfection. Like, it'd be insane if you saw all the initial takes in every Instagram reel.
yeah.
Like, and that's perfect example is just like, I just think it would be very refreshing if there was like an Instagram for bloopers, like only bloopers, and like actually like showing how many if you're recording.
Yeah.
Look at this podcast. I'll tell you right now, everybody. It took me like 3 times to get the intro down. Right, like it's just like, but telling people that like I think makes it feel like it's more authentic. It's more real. I don't like that stern, scripted BS that I think has been made in the past to be like what is expected with a lot of just all industries. Like they want to be looked at as perfect,
Yeah.
perfect, and it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible, and it creates this almost like people chasing something they'll never get to. And in reality, like you need to hit goals. You need to hit goals so you can create the next ones. And if you're creating these goals you're going to burn yourself out if you can't get to them. You're going to burn yourself out. You're going to not go try to get to that goal point. You're going to give up. And I just think like if you accept failure as like almost like don't aim for it but expect it every freaking time, it'll be weird how you'll look at that as a success. And I think it's just when people see how committed you are to something, even if it's failed a bunch of times. I know the whole definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. But sometimes trying something over and over, if you're very passionate about, I mean, like example is pitching to an investor and you've gone through 20 investors and none of them want it. And then 2 months later, you get a random investor loving it. And now it's a huge, huge company. It's just like, if you're passionate enough about something, you will never regret putting all your energy into it, ever. Yeah. I always use the example, like if you're on your deathbed and you're like, oh, would you rather be the one that's like, I regret never trying this, or I regret that I lost some money trying this?
I don't think it's a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
But teaching yourself how to do that. I think like when we're kids, we'll do anything, right? Like you look at a 2-year-old, they keep doing the same dumb thing over and over, but they're learning, right?
Yeah.
And it seems trivial to us because we've done it before. And somewhere along the way, we lose the ability to do that, except we don't. We just think that we should know better. Like we think we should just be able to pick it up and we're going to be all of a sudden good at it. Yeah. Of course not. But that you have to find your own way to reframe that. Like just saying to somebody, no, it's okay to suck at something. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You can be doing next. It doesn't really work. Yeah. I think when you reach like an age in your life in which you become really good at things, and I think for a lot of people, like a lot of people my age, I'm 43. Like we've become really good at things. We're very capable people. Except that version of me is kind of gone. Yeah. Like I don't want to do that anymore. Like I always worked on my feet. I always loved running around. I always liked being that. But I got bored. Like I got bored because I got tired. Like I'm not 20. I can still do the work, but I don't want to do it like that anymore. Yeah. But that means I have to relearn how to think. Yeah. In a way that I resisted when I was younger because I didn't have to. Yeah. So now I have to relearn how to do that. And that's something that it's something that I think that we all know, but we don't really talk about very much because you have to live in the little perfect bubble where you think you need a little perfect bubble. So I guess, in a sense that we're lucky because we do our thing. And, the more honest that, I mean, you and I, like the more honest that we are, the more successful we can be on this one. Yeah. And so people who might work for a big corporation can't do that. But I kind of wonder if they could too, like, and yeah, if you're capable enough to be able to frame it positively, you're capable enough to be able to give the constructive feedback. You're capable enough to do all sorts of things to embrace the learning process of it all. You just have to learn how to do it again. And it's a very tough thing to want to do and to have to do and to, give yourself permission to do, which I think is the bigger one.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I just feel like it's you got to jump in that water. You gotta get your feet wet. You just got to do it. I mean, like, it sounds like you kind of had a moment where it was just like, okay, enough is enough. I want to do this for me and do what I love and coach and work with other people that are looking to do what they're meant to do.
I mean, I don't think I had a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have kept doing what I was doing, yes, but then ultimately I didn't have a choice. Like, I knew it was going to end, and it was going to end badly, because that's what's happened.
Yeah.
If I keep trying to fit myself into another area or another, the wrong place, I did a very reflective essay podcast on, maybe it's not them, it was actually me, and it was it was one of my earlier episodes, and it was really just about, they're happy. Let them be happy. You're the one that's not happy. You're the one that doesn't fit in. So don't go yelling and screaming that the whole thing is toxic, that everything's a mess, that nobody cares about you, because they're happy. So let them be happy. Yeah. But let yourself be happy too.
Find you're happy.
Yeah, because it's out there. It exists. And if you haven't found it, if you haven't stumbled upon it, maybe you can create it. Yeah. And I think I'm one of those people that has to create it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I think it kind of stems from just like the box that people are brought up in, and like in high school, they're like, figure out what you want to be and do with your life. And then, because you need to go to college once you're done high school or university or whatever, and figure that out. And the amount of friends I had that like went directly into school after they were done, and they're like, this is what I'm doing with my life. And then they go to school for 8 years and they get out and they hate it.
Yeah.
It was staggering. And it's not even like they got paid well either to hate it.
I did that.
Yeah.
Did you do that, or did you get it?
No, I mean, my parents would have liked if I did, but I think it worked out in the end. Is I wanted to music productions when I went to school for a year of college, and it was music production, music business, music theory. Is all music. After I went to school for it, not the best field if I wanted to get paid, so I ended up working just in jobs that paid the bills for years until I decided, let's do this.
Yeah.
But it kind of created where I am now. I'm doing media. It's not music, but it's very similar when it comes to editing and everything. It's more creative, and I'm a creative person. The amount of creative people stuck in jobs that they can't use their creativity is staggering, and it's like due to like not having parents, families that like support this like this, and I feel like it's finally gotten to a point where parents are starting to be like, no, like, I'd rather have my kid living in my basement, happy, working, doing something they're passionate about than them struggling on their own, hating everything they're doing, and still just everything's tough on them. Like, it's just really, where is it better for a parent is like, no, like, yeah, as much as you think your son should have got into the trades and he's downstairs drawing comic books. Like, yeah, of course there's going to be part of you that's like, I wish there was something better support system for my kid. But in reality, it's like, no, like, they're probably happier even if they're not making the money.
And, well, I mean, how can you find the path to give you that fulfillment? You know, like I say, you created an environment. You couldn't do music.
Yeah.
But you created an environment that gives you that artistic expression.
Yeah.
That freedom to operate, and that feeling that music gave you.
Yeah.
All your training in music is what's made you be able to do this.
Yeah.
It's not a linear line, but it's adjacent, right? It's part of it. I mean, I have a history degree. I love history. I study it all the time. I still read history books. I love it. Am I ever going to work in that? No. But what is it about history that's actually interesting in the modern world? Well, history teaches you about what's normal, right? History teaches you about people and how people function in moments of stress. Okay. And it's also storytelling. Okay. Mm-hmm. So how can I align those things as well as take 20 years of business knowledge and put it into something actually useful? 20 years of management, leadership, all that stuff that I've done for somebody else, and that bring it all together. I actually think, like, this is the first time in my life I've actually used my education.
That's funny.
my history degree, right?
Yeah.
And I actually get to use it. Now, I'm not teaching people history, although I do talk history a lot in my podcast, but I'm taking the lessons of history and applying them to our modern world. And we're not the first people who have gone through technological change. We're not the first people to feel sad. We're not the first people to have identity issues. Like, these things go back,
Every generation of all time.
The ancient Greeks had the same problem that we do. We're not all that different. We just look at the world, or we just look, the things around us are different, But the way we feel about things, like human evolution is what, millions of years? We're 2,000 years removed from these people. That's nothing.
No, it's really nothing.
So that's why I think it's the only time I've actually got to actually use my education. But it doesn't have to be a straight line.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, like, we get lost, because, if you want to do a career change, there's that certification race, right? I always have to have this, I can't do this job because I don't have this really specific certification. I don't have this really specific, set of experience.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's look at what the job is actually asking for. Let's look at what the employers are actually asking for. And they're writing a job description. They're really trying to create a unicorn. They know very well that person doesn't exist, or that person who does exist is just retired or whatever, or moved on. They're looking for value. So what do you have in terms of value? Because it's hardly fair to ask somebody to go spend another $15,000 in certification to fill a role that might not exist 2 years from now. Yeah. So it's really on us as individuals, and I think as the community around the individual, to start looking at people's unique value, their collective experience, and how they can apply to various things. Yeah. And in that sense, there's a lot of people that can help, and tools and AI or whatever that can help you kind of dig that out. But until you're prepared to accept that you might not be an expert at something, so can we prepare to be uncomfortable?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I could keep talking. I love your passion. I can tell you have passion, and definitely would be someone that a ton of people I think would enjoy working with as a coach. Definitely have the right head on your shoulders when it comes to like seeing what would make them successful through their passion, through your passion together. Like, and that's, I find, like, if you're passionate about what you do, you're always going to be successful. I'd love for our viewers and our listeners to check out what you do. We'll get your website, as well as your social media account, and also your podcast. So plug that right now. Let us know where we can find you.
You can find me, johnfialkowski.com. That's F as in Frank, IALKOWSKI.
It'll be in our description.
It'll be in your description, hopefully, because, podcast is called Career Coaching with John. Find on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, wherever you find your stuff.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on today.
It's my pleasure, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Coming all the way out here to the suburbs, and I know you're in Vancouver, so it's always
it was a harrowing journey.
Yeah, it's always that trek for the people that live in Vancouver. It's always a bigger trek than everybody's used to going down there anyways from out here. Yeah. But I appreciate you coming in, man, checking out the spot as well as being on the show. I appreciate your passion and your story. So.
This is an awesome space. This is a really cool podcast studio. I do mine in my closet, so this is a big upgrade for me.
We do have memberships as well as we do productions for people. So if you're wanting to ever step it up, bring it in, multiple camera angles, and you have guests in studio, we're always an option. I know it's a trek out, but if ever interested, we'd be willing to talk for sure.
Cool. All right.
Well,
thanks a lot.
Thank you. And thank you all for listening and watching today. Make sure to subscribe to our channel as well as like our videos, like the podcast. It was a great podcast today. Thank you for checking it out, and check us out next time on the Community Podcast. Have a good one.